Okay, so for math today, Tuesday, October 13th, we are reviewing word problems and IPAC. So we're looking at right now our IPAC, which means our strategies for math. So every time I say make sure you're using your strategies or use your strategies, then that means this right here, okay? So information. That's the first thing you need to do when you're looking at a word problem. You need to identify important information. So you can circle it. I'm not really concerned about how you find your information. You can highlight it, you can underline it, you can circle it. It doesn't matter. As long as you're going back in the problem and figuring out what is important to solving it, okay? So it says here, the student reads the problem, okay? Obviously, that's always going to be the first thing you do, right? Sometimes do we have to read problems more than once?
Yes.
Yes. Even I have to still. I have to read it 2 or 3 times sometimes to figure out what I need to do. Student finds this stated or implied question asked, okay? You got to know what they're asking for you to know how to solve it, right? Student restates or paraphrases the question. Student circles the important information in the problem, and then you also will cross out any information that is unnecessary, okay? So crossing out is another important thing to do. Eliminating answer choices, crossing out information that we don't need, okay? Plan. Pick a plan. So that means, am I going to add, subtract, multiply, divide? So what I usually like to do is I'll put the symbols in the problem, and I can look back and see, okay, I put a plus sign here and a minus sign here. That must mean I need to do 2 things in this problem. It's a multi-step problem, okay? If it's multiple choice, then we need to examine the answers to see if there are any that can be eliminated, okay? We already do that, right? We already know how to do that. A is go ahead and answer, and for me, in my class, I do like to have y'all box the answer. If it's multiple choice, box the letter of the correct answer and write it in the margin, okay? C, check your answer to make sure it's correct. Does it make sense? Is it reasonable? Solve for another way. And then, so for adding, we've learned to subtract to see if our answer is correct. If we're subtracting, we've learned to add to see if our answer is correct. Okay? Now, let's review real quick some key words. That would be here in this part. You look for key words. That's important information. Oh, y'all can't see it. So keywords. What are some keywords for addition? You remember, Kelsey?
All together.
Good. And y'all don't have to write this. We're just going over it. All together is for addition. What else? Kelsey?
In all.
In all. Okay, how about 2 for subtraction? Kaylee? How many more? Means to subtract. What about the word difference? When it says, what's the difference? In math, that means to subtract. Okay, and we'll be talking more about keywords as we start going over the word problems. Okay, so in class, if you're at home, we have put this in our math notebook. We've glued it down already to have this to look back at. So if you can, print this off and go ahead and keep it in your notebook. If not, we've already written it down. If you want to add some of these other things that was included on this sheet, you can in your math notebook where we've already written the IPAC steps down. Okay? All right, now we're going to look at the word problems. So everybody get this sheet out. And we're going to do some of these together. And then I'm going to let you try some on your own, okay? So we're looking at number 1, the top left-hand side. Who wants to read? Okay, Bryson. Josie?
Josie has 330 pencils of red and green. Candy. 63 of the pencils are red. How many pencils are green?
Okay, so Josie has 303 pieces of red and green candy. If 63 of the pieces are red, how many pieces are green? Okay, so we have 2 different colors, right? We have a red and a green. Do we know how many are red?
No. Yes.
Yes, red is 63. So first step is to find your important information. 63 red. Okay. How many pieces are green? Is that important what the question's asking? How many pieces are green? Yes. So you can circle or underline. We're looking for green. That's important. So we could put green and we don't know. Question mark. Okay, now I see another number at the beginning. It said Josie has 303 pieces of red and green candy. Is this 303 important?
Yes.
Yes. Is that the total amount? Yes. So could I put 63 plus something? We'll just use the letter G for green. Equals 303?
No.
Yes. Now we need to figure out what this G is by doing a different way. Bryson, you said it. What can I do to figure out this missing number?
Subtract.
Good.
3 minus 63.
Good. We're going to subtract. We're going to take 303, which is our total, and subtract 63. Okay? So our plan was to subtract. And I just put the symbol for subtraction. You don't have to do a long drawn out plan. Okay, the next step is to answer. So we're going to do 303 minus 63 and see what we get. Okay, what's 3 minus 3? 0. 0 minus 6? Can't do that. So more on the floor, go next door. So the 3 becomes a 2, the 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 2 minus nothing is 2. Okay? So we have our answer. We can box it, but how about we check first before we box our final answer? How can I check to see if this is the correct amount? Kelsey?
You can put 63 and then 240 plus 63 and add it together.
Very good. We're going to take these bottom 2 numbers. Or what you can do is just plug it in for G and see if it equals 303. So 240 plus 63, and this is the checking step. 0 plus 3 is 3, 4 plus 6 is 10, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So is our answer correct? Yes, 303 is my top number. So now I can box 240 as my final answer. Okay. Now if I'm going too fast for those of you at home, just pause the video to give yourself time to look over this and write it down. Okay, Mrs. Ivy drove 136 miles to visit her brother and 124 miles back home. How many miles did she drive in all? And did we hear something in there when I read that question? In all. Okay? So I'm going to put a little plus sign because I know that that means to add. Okay? Now let's keep going and finding the important information. This is a very short word problem, so we're starting off simple. Which information is important other than in all? We know that's important. The numbers. She drove 136 miles to visit her brother and then 124 miles back home. We do need both of those numbers. And what are we going to do? What's our plan? Evangeline? Adding it. Okay. Now we can start answering. 136 plus 124. Okay. I'll let y'all add those up and you can tell me what Alright, let's see what we got. 6 plus 4 is 10. So that means we need to carry a 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. 260. Okay, how can I check my answer? What do you think, Javea? Adding them or subtracting them? We don't want to add them because that's going to be bigger. We can subtract. Okay, we can subtract these two and it should come out to the bottom. Over here we added to check because we subtracted to solve. Okay, you do the opposite. So when I'm adding to solve, I subtract to check it. Okay, so 260 minus 124. Can I do 0 minus 4?
No.
No. So we go next door. 6 becomes 5. 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 2 minus 1 is 1. I do get the same number, so we got it right. 260, and what was the question talking about? 260 what? Miles. Miles. Not much space in these little tiny boxes, so we gotta write small, or if you need more space, then you can use notebook paper for scratch sheet. Okay, number 3. Elise saw 43 deer and 27 rabbits in the field. How many animals did she see in all? Okay, let's go through our IPAC again. So I stands for information. What did we hear in that word problem that's important? Aaliyah? In all, and it means to add. Good. What else is important? What do you think, Gregory?
We should add numbers.
The numbers. Do we need both of them?
Yes.
Yes. We need the 43 deer, 27 rabbits, because we're trying to see how many animals in all. Okay? So we have our plan. We know that we need to add. Now the next step is to answer. 43 plus 27. Okay, I'll let y'all work that out. Okay, the class here is saying they got 70, so let's see if it's correct. 3 plus 7 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. Plus 2 is 7. Okay? And then how could I check my answer? Evangeline? Subtracting 70 minus 27, and we should get 43. Okay, and we do, so I know my answer is correct. 70, and then what were they talking about? What can we label this? Kelsey? 70 what? What was the question asking us for? How many what? Animals. So that's what we need to label it as. How many animals? So 70 animals. And the only reason I like to go ahead and label is because that makes you have to go back and check one more time that you're answering the question. How many animals? 70 animals. Okay?
Can I read again?
We'll do 2 more together, and then I'm going to let you guys complete the rest on your own. Okay? Number 4. I'll go ahead and read, because for them at home it's hard for them to hear you from way over there. So number 4, Don had 25 baseball cards. He gave 9 to Scott. How many baseball cards did Don have left? Okay, so IPAC, what's the important information?
Left.
Left, Kelsey says. Why is left important?
Because it is a keyword.
Keyword for what?
Subtracting.
Good, very good. Subtracting. Is there another word in there that kind of gives you a hint, Aaliyah?
Gave.
Very good. Gave. If I'm giving something away, then I have to take that away by subtracting. Okay, so he starts out with 25 baseball cards. He gave 9 to Scott. How many does he have left? So, what should our plan be? Subtract the 2 numbers. Good. 25 minus 9. Okay. Go ahead and work that out and let me see what you get. 25 minus 9. So we need to go next door, right? We can't do 5 minus 9. So it's 15 minus 9, which equals 6. 1 minus nothing is 1. Okay? Now, last step is to check. So what do I do to check a subtraction problem? Kaylee? Good. So we're going to check real quickly. 16 plus 9, and it should end up coming out to equal this top number, 25. 6 plus 9 is 15. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay? Now let's go back and box and label our answer. 16 what? Baseball cards. Okay, last one we're going to do together, and then you guys will be completing the rest on your own. Okay, number 5. Bill made 27 hamburgers. Susie made 11 cheeseburgers. How many burgers did they make? Was there any key words in there? No, not this time, but that's okay. We still know what to do, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it says how many burgers did they make. So do I need to include both numbers?
Yes.
Yes. How many burgers did they make? Well, Bill made 27 and Susie made 11. So what is my plan? To add 27 plus 11. 38. Good. 7 plus 1 is 8. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then what should we label it as? Kelsey?
38
Burgers. 38 burgers. Okay, we box our answer.
You forgot to check.
Check. How would I check that real quick?
Subtract 38 and 11.
38 minus 11. It was 27. Good. So did y'all notice every time it was the opposite operation? If we added to solve, we subtracted to check. If we subtracted to solve, then we added to check. Right? Okay, are there any questions before we go on by ourselves? Are we confident that we can complete this by ourselves now? Kelsey?
Can you turn this for a grade?
Can I turn this in for a grade? Sure. She wants this for a grade. I grade everything, y'all, but sometimes if it's just practice or we're just learning something new, then I won't count it in the grade book as your final average. Okay? So those of you at home, just keep working these out like we've modeled here in class using your IPAC strategies. You can have your notebook open to those IPAC strategies to remind you of the steps that you need to take. Take a picture of your work if you've done it on notebook paper and submit it in Seesaw when you're done.